Hey guys, what's up? I'm Noah,
And I'm Lance.
and this is our first podcast, videocast, YouTube channel, whatever you want to call it. We are Monkey Talk Studios, and today's episode we're just going to be just talking about a little bit about us. But first off, we are going to be doing something every week called
Flavor of the week. It's because we both vape, and
Yeah.
we figured, different e-juices. Why not say what we're vaping on?
So, do you want to say what we use?
Yeah,
Do you have
definitely.
yours?
I got my Miley on right now.
Oh, okay. So I'm using a Vupu drag with a Cosmonaut.
Mhm.
Yeah, Cosmonaut ODA.
And right now I have my Miley. It's just salt-based nicotine. A little bit stronger than typical mods, but
This is what he's using.
and we just use straight nicotine, none of that other stuff. So We're good
So
boys.
today we are vaping for all of you white girls out there.
I love it.
This is pumpkin pie. It's Mama's pumpkin pie. Right there. So, I have it in my idea at the moment. What?
Is it saturated? Nice.
It's been sitting in
Sweet.
there. What should I vape at?
8590 with the pumpkin pie because it is a little bit sweetener based, so I want to keep it a little bit nicer.
So 85. It's interesting. It's very interesting.
Does have a nice little pumpkin
Yeah.
pie taste.
It does indeed. And one other thing that we definitely having on the show is a Bang.
Dude, you gotta love it. It's got all the creatine and stuff you need.
Yeah.
Build those muscles up.
So Lance doesn't have one today because we were running short schedule, but so what is our podcast about?
Well, our podcast is pretty much the generic. We're talking about longboarding, and because that's one of our big hobbies that we do. We play a lot of video games, so why not talk about that? We're big into music. That's really the three main subjects that we like to talk about. But we'll also be discussing like breaking news that happens around
Yep.
the world, like any disasters and what anyone also can do to like help with that. It's just
Yeah.
kind of more of an awareness on that, because we can't just turn a blind eye to that because it happens every day. All
I
around the
definitely
world.
agree on that one. Stuff is just going on all the time, and so we want to be able to talk about that different stuff. We will be talking about different games that are coming out, games that have come out. If we're gonna talk about old games, new games, whatever, we aren't really biased.
Yeah,
Yeah, we aren't biased on old, new.
like we'll even talk about like Nintendo 64,
Heck yeah.
Sega,
I
Atari.
was playing Sega earlier today. I'm an Xbox player for one. I haven't played a lot of PlayStation, but I'm not opposed to it. Like some people are.
Yeah, I own an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4 and a lot of old classic systems. I grew up gaming because of my dad. I even PC game too, but not as much. Because that stuff you have to update the software quite a bit to keep those graphics and going. But yeah, pretty much any games, like even if you guys want to leave like suggestions on our YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, any of that.
Yeah, we'll leave
on-
all of those in the link below in the bio.
Yeah, whatever you want us to talk about. We'll play like adventure that's on the Atari, and then just anything like that. Like we could always find ways. We have a really good local game store that has a lot of old games that we always go in and
Press start to play.
press start to play.
Press
Shout
start
out
to
to
play.
them.
They're great. He knows I've met them before. I'm not too super familiar with them, but they're great people. If you're ever up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, definitely go.
Yep, definitely a great place, great group of people. It's not just video games too. It's also like Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, kind of card games like that, just TCGs. Definitely shout out to them. They're great people.
So back on what I was talking about earlier. So, for Xbox, they have, I think it's every 2 weeks a free games come out.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah,
Don't
with
quote
the
me on
gold.
that. Yeah, with gold. So last month they had Sega Originals. It was an
Really?
arcade, and so I got it, and I was playing a little bit earlier. It was really confusing because I couldn't figure out what was going on. But the 8-bit, the old 8-bit soundtracks, just freaking killer. Just love it.
Oh yeah, you can't beat any of the classical theme songs to anything like that.
No, all the 8-bit stuff was
Mhm.
amazing. Just so killer. Set that up front. But so as I advertised on Instagram and Twitter this past following week, we were gonna talk about.
Let's Go, because that's a big one that's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Came out a couple days ago, got it the night of the pre-release. And I gotta say, it's been a really fun game. It's a little bit like the old school, but also it was really targeting people who played Pokemon Go, because normally you have to fight, like in the old classics and the main series, fight the Pokemon and then get them to a certain point, throw a Pokeball and hope to catch them. Or an Ultra or a Great Ball, whatever you wanted to use. But in this one, it's a lot of you point, catch, but there's a lot of battling just with like Classic in the Kanto region. There's different gyms you have to take down. I feel like it's a little bit easier than they used to be, but that's also the target group that they were shooting for. But all in all, it's been a phenomenal game, and I've really enjoyed it. And that's coming from a guy who's been playing since the original Game Boy. I had all the bigger cartridges, Game Boy Advance, just any of those. It's just been a blast. But I love how they've tied it in to where your Pokemon Go can also be hooked up to the account. You can transfer Pokemon just to get an exclusive Pokemon
That's cool.
in there.
That's actually really cool. Another big game that came out was Red Dead 2. Dude, that's such a sick game.
Really?
Like, just to be honest, like, you think that Grand Theft Auto, like, because Rockstar, they do a fabulous job. It's amazing, the graphics on it, just fucking out of this world. But, like, I was watching it and everything, and, the graphics and just the stuff you can do, like, Grand Theft Auto, you can do some bad stuff.
Yeah.
You can go and shoot people, kill people, run over them and everything. Dude, the amount of stuff that you can do in Red Dead 2 is just unbelievably awesome and horrific.
Really?
Like, just the fact that you can lasso someone and ride your horse and have them dragging behind you. Oh, dude, it's so awesome.
So that's definitely something I'm going to have to get into, because I know a couple of my buddies have been playing it and from work, and they're just obsessed with it. They already completed the playthrough at least once, and I've heard a lot of good things about it, so that's good that you know a little bit more.
I haven't done a ton of research into online. I don't know if they're going to do online. Like I said, I haven't done a lot of research, but if they do, that's going to be a huge thing. It's going to be super sick. One of the things that you can find clans. And the one of the interfaces with the clans is them bringing someone into the KKK. And when he goes to light the cross on fire, he lights himself on fire, and everyone around. Dude, it's so funny. But no, like, that game is absolutely, hands down, one of the best games Rockstar has ever made, besides some of the original Grand Theft Autos. Just amazing. I played some of the old Red Dead. So much better. So much better.
Well, speaking of new games and multiplayer, Fallout 76, that's definitely been a huge one that's hitting. I got to play the beta at my friend's house. Haven't got a chance to buy it yet, just because I bought Let's Go instead. I bought the extra bundle that came with the Pokeball. That was pretty sick too. But just the whole aspect of the multiplayer has been a huge twist that we've all been waiting for in the Fallout universe. I feel like it was a little nerfed though, with the competitive point, because you're not like entirely looking over your shoulder the whole time and like survival of the fittest. It's a little bit more balanced to where you can't just be jumped out of nowhere, which I like it, but at the same time, I feel like just in an apocalyptic world, it has to be a little bit more cutthroat. But all in all, just the whole multiplayer aspect on that is phenomenal. And thank you guys for finally coming out with a multiplayer Fallout. It's definitely been a blast, and shout out.
So I played Fallout 3, I think.
3.
If you were gonna, so I'm not a huge fan.
Mm-hmm.
Give me 3 selling points on it.
Well, multiplayer, geez, that's the biggest one. Just everyone has been waiting for that, and so let alone all old Fallout fans
Mm-hmm.
pretty much bought 76 just because it was that great. The graphics are definitely phenomenal, but that's also modern day technology. Like we've got it good with our graphics. We can make things so realistic. And
Fuck,
just
dude, we're coming out
awesome.
of the Uncanny Valley. Well, we completely went down the non-realistic side,
Mm-hmm.
and we're coming back up the realistic side. Once we hit the top, it's gonna be insane.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you know the theory of Uncanny Valley?
A little bit, but not a whole lot.
So, for anyone out there watching, the Uncanny Valley is a graphic. What would it be? I can't remember what the
Like a high-low sort of deal.
what it would be called. It's a graphic scenario. No. Theory. No, it's not theory. You know what? Whatever.
We'll get to that one next
yeah.
week.
So, but what happens is, so on this side of the Uncanny Valley versus this side is back when the Atari is out.
Yeah,
When
like 8-bit, low
yeah.
graphics.
Super low, pixelated, blocky looking, kind of like Minecraft, okay? Let's just say Minecraft.
Minecraft was great. 64-bit.
Minecraft is so awesome. They are outrageous on what they've done. But, see, you got the really unrealistic over here. You got the really realistic over here. So we've slowly gone down to the valley, and now we're working up on the realism side. And what's going to happen is, once we get up here, it's going to be hard to decide what's real and what's fake.
Mm-hmm.
Once they hit that certain point to where they can literally make a graphic look like a human and look like it's a movie that you're playing, is when you're going to hit the very top of the realism side of Uncanny Valley. And I'm really excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really scared for that as well, because
Well, you gotta think when we hit that point, VR is going to be like the top step. It's going to be almost like Ready Player One, where it's so
Mhm.
realistic and just in the Oasis based at that point, which it's scary to think about, but that's going to be phenomenal.
it's going to be so cool. Just the stuff that you're going to be able to do, the things that you're going to be able to see. They're coming along with VR. VR is kind of, it's a little bit back, but they're coming up. They're getting it ready. They're definitely going to have it within, I believe, by 2030, we're going to be pretty up on
Yeah.
everything versus, like, how realism it is. I think games are going to be pretty realistic in 2030. They're already, the cutscenes in some of the,
Oh, yeah.
like, Call of Duties, whatever you want to play.
Yeah, very realistic.
They're so realistic. I remember even 2-3 years ago watching a cutscene in, what was it? Battlefield.
What, a couple years ago, Battlefield 4?
I think so. I think it was 4. One of the cutscenes I was watching, like, it wasn't like, holy shit, that's real. But it was like, they're getting really close to it. Like,
Mhm.
really close to being real.
Oh, yeah. And just imagine when we hit that step, also, like, sci-fi, like how realistic some of that could be, because I know, shout out to guys who work on Halo, all the different ones so far,
Mhm.
and the progression on that over the years, because that's been a game that a lot of us have grown up on.
Dude, Bungie did amazing on
Mhm.
that stuff. Just outstanding on what they
Yeah.
did.
Halo 5, just awesome.
Oh, yeah. You know, I kind of fell out of that phase. I grew up on that. That's the first-person shooter game I ever played was Halo. freaking killed it. I remember being deathly scared of the Flood when I was a kid. I was like, once it got to the Flood, I shut my game off and I would not play. I was like 7 years old and scared to death of the Flood. But that game is so amazing. That really took a lot of different games and pushed them out there because it gave people inspiration.
Yeah.
There's so many games out there now that were inspired by the classics, like the first Call of Duty and the first Halo,
Mm-hmm.
all of the first SPF games. So amazing. I just can't get over how far different games have come.
Yeah. It's definitely... It's weird to also think about, like, how we've gone from boots on the ground games, like Call of Duty, for example. Really great game series. I have ones I don't like, have ones I love a lot, intermediate ones. But I just like how also the progression with that, with the new Black Ops that just came out, how it's back to boots on the ground versus having, like, Black Ops 3. Love that one just because of all the dynamics that you could do with it. But it wasn't boots on the ground, so it was a lot easier to be very mobile in that game.
So
versus
what
also,
is
like, World War II?
what
or
is
Battlefield.
Black Ops 4 about? I have
You know,
I haven't
I've only
actually
played some
looked into it.
multiplayer. I haven't got to do the campaign yet, but that's one thing that's on my list to get to, is to run through that campaign. Just for the whole boots on the ground aspect, because I'll even go play like World at War and Modern Warfare just for the boots on ground aspect, like the early ones. But that's just one thing. Played some of the multiplayer with my buddies, but I just haven't got through the campaign yet because that's just one step I just haven't hit yet.
Yeah. Man, I love those old ones. I like the... So if I was to pick 3 Call of Duties out of all the Call of Duties that were my favorite, one would be World at War.
That's a
Terrific
good one.
game. Amazing. You know, the graphics for that day were really good. They introduced Nazi zombies, which, for anyone who knows me, I am a killer Nazi zombie fan. For a lot of times, that's the only reason I buy Call of Duty. I have World War II. Yeah, I have Call of Duty World War II. Haven't even began the campaign.
Yeah, that's actually what he was doing right before we did the
Yes.
podcast. He was playing some of that, and I was playing some Let's Go.
I have a season pass for it, and so a couple weeks ago I got the Frozen Dawn. Yeah, Frozen Dawn edition, and man, that map's so sick. I am loving it. Just the layout, the graphics, the new zombies that they introduced with every single DLC. So amazing. And some of the weapons, those things are BA, like the crossbow. Dude, that
was
thing,
gnarly.
the crossbow is amazing. Just a little overpowered. I would have to say,
Don't nerf it though. We like it.
yeah, that thing's amazing. But I'd have to say, level 17, and it's a one-shot kill on, I think, at least 4 zombies.
Yeah, there
With-
is damage.
Yeah, it's a very, like, outburst of damage when it hits one zombie, and it kills at least 4 in its radius. It's a little OP in that fact, but I think once you hit, like, level 30, you're going to start having to do at least 2-shot, 3-shot.
Yeah.
I'd hope so, because I'm the type of guy that likes a little realism, and to me...
It's zombies though.
Yeah, true.
Can't have too much realism there.
A little too much realism, and we're going to be going into a zombie war. But, no, Call of Duty, World War II, I'd have to say is my second favorite,
Alright.
just for zombies, because the zombie maps that they've released in that, amazing. And I'd have to say for my third favorite, that's a tough one. It's honestly between Call of Duty 4, World at War.
No, Modern Warfare.
Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare,
The first Modern Warfare.
and Call of Duty, the big red one. It's old. That's original Xbox right there.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
old. That's 17 years old. which
Oh,
is insane.
man.
Well, it's around 17 years old.
That's hard to think about.
Oh, okay, so let's just think about this. I think it was last week, Xbox just hit their 17-year anniversary for making the Xbox original.
Wow, guys, I feel old now.
Same.
And I'm only 21.
Man, it's so insane. Like, just the groundbreaking stuff that all these different companies are going through. Like with not Microsoft, Sony coming out with the new PlayStation that they're coming out with.
Yeah. It's definitely the progression of once we hit that cap of like PS1, 2, 3, 4, and then Xbox 360, Xbox One, and then like the S and X, just all the progression on the newest systems, because they've hit that current wall with our technology to where they can upgrade what they have, but not enough to call it a completely new game system.
You know what? I have a complaint though. I don't want to be mean to like all these big companies like Microsoft and Sony because I love their products. I love what they
Love
do.
'em.
Okay, if without them I wouldn't have 2 Xboxes in my house. You know.
And I would be very sad and lonely.
There'd be a lot of people out there living in their mom's basements, not doing anything.
Yep.
Not saying that's wrong. I did it for a long time. So my biggest issue is they release a console, okay, like with Xbox 360. So they released, and then they do sub consoles in that console.
Yep.
So they released a Xbox
The Slim,
360.
the Elite.
Yeah, and that's fine. Okay, when they just make a better version of that and they release it. Okay, that's fine and dandy. Until they do what they're doing now, where it's like an iPhone. They release a new one every year. And I feel like that's what's going to happen, and that's not what I want. I want them to make a Xbox, keep it, and, do
3-4 years,
make software updates. Not just go, okay, we'll release this, let's start working on the next biggest and best thing. And then, boom, you have this out-of-date Xbox. You want to get a new one. You can't transfer your games over with it because it's a brand new system.
And they're not always backwards compatible,
Yeah.
which hurts.
But
that's also
even-
why I have such a good collection going
yeah,
on.
even with they're now getting backwards compatible
Mhm.
with Xbox original even on
Yeah.
the Xbox One.
Yeah, but that's also select titles,
Yeah.
and it's just a work in progress. But by the time, like, if they were releasing them even slowly, but all the titles that they've had, by the time the next new one comes out, which who knows what it's going to be because
I just want to say, like,
it's interesting.
I spent so much money when I went from an Xbox 360, had so many games. I had all the Call of Duties, everything I wanted, and then I changed to an Xbox One. I had to go and buy every single game over again that I wanted
Yeah.
to play, and that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, which I'm happy with the Xbox One X
Mm-hmm.
that they didn't do a full format change. They didn't change the gaming and everything. They didn't change so you had to go out and buy new games for it, which I'm really happy about. And I'm hoping, like, this is my biggest hope. If they're going to keep on making consoles,
Keep it the same game.
Yes, keep it the same format as the Xbox One games.
Yeah.
And that's what PlayStation should do too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've hit that point to where,
Well, they're already using Blu-ray discs, so
yeah,
it's after that. I don't see where you could really go unless we start hitting, like, really, really huge VR, like
Mhm.
deep into the game. Like you have to have hand gloves and
Yeah.
the mask and
yeah,
even
I'm not trying to
omnidirectional.
slam on anyone, but
Okay.
I'm just getting a little sick of having to go out, get a new console, and then pretty much sell my console that I have and all my games for half price, and then go out and be able to buy like one game.
Yeah, that's always hard.
Yeah, because you have all these cool games, and you sit there and go, well, I could save them, and wait 2 years for them to become backwards compatible. But then what are you gonna play?
Or you
know?
become a hoarder like me, and I have I have 18 different game systems right now because I just got a Switch, just mainly for Let's Go, but I'm gonna start buying more games for that slowly. But Yeah, they have like so many different hookups and just they're all ready to be easily swapped out, but at the same time it just becomes a lot, especially with any updates that still can happen for any of the older systems. Well, not too old, but just one of those things that it's really a system management, like time progressing, making sure I'm not just holding on to something just to hold on to it, but actually putting time aside to play some old games rather than, I'll play that later. I'll play it later.
Yeah, one thing, like, okay, myself, I have 2 Xbox Ones. I have an
2
Xbox
PlayStation
Original.
4s.
I have an Xbox 360. And I don't play them all the time, but one thing I'm really excited about, which we're going to release at some point, me and him are going to sit down, and I want to play Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
I got the Lord of the Rings games, and I want to do a gameplay.
Like the Xbox ones?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Original Xbox.
Man, I haven't played those in, like 6-7 years.
That's another game that I grew up on. Because I grew up as a freaking Lord of the Rings buff and Star Wars buff, and I did all of that stuff.
Oh yeah, the old Battlefronts. Like I would play 6-7 hours a day on those, and God, those
I love those.
Good memories.
I own
man.
them all. I got another good game was Knights of the Old Republic. I don't know if you ever played it.
Oh, you can get it on Xbox.
Yes,
now,
you can.
the new,
and I own both of them.
Oh yeah, see, I just need to. I haven't played my Xbox in a while, but it was you that told me, or was one of my other friends told me like, a couple days ago about Knights of the Old Republic now being on Xbox One. Wasn't you? All right, it must have been one of my coworkers because we talk about a lot of video games. But that's one thing that I can't wait to get home. And how much does it cost?
$10.
Yeah.
$10.
$10 for that
So that's another
amazing
thing
game.
I love about it is it's $10 for any, and I mean any original Xbox game that they put on.
Yeah.
It's flat price of $9.99, which is super cool because they're out of date, but they're still amazing as fuck. And so I got Battlefield 1 and 2. Battlefront, sorry, my mistake. Battlefront 1 and 2 for $10 each. I got both of the Knights of the Old Republic. I got Fusion Frenzy. I don't know if you've ever played that game.
I've heard of it. I know my dad played it a lot, but I never did.
Oh, it's a crazy game. I hated it when I was younger. But it's a really fun game. It's so cool that they just went, okay, you know what, we're gonna put all these games on there and do $10 a pop.
Yeah.
Which is really nice because you don't want to be going out. I remember before they did backwards compatible, I went to one of our local gaming areas, Entertain Mart. They have a huge selection of original Xbox games. You know how much it costs to get Battlefront 2?
I'm gonna assume like $30.
$40. $40. $39.99 to get Battlefront 2.
Funny enough, at Press Start, Battlefront 1 and 2, they got them both for like $15.
Yeah.
But that's also the original Xbox ones that you can't beat the originals, but at the same time when they get like digitally downloaded, still a great game.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. Like, you know how they've released like Sega, Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
Just the old classic like reboots. Those things have been really fun because I picked those up along with my regular ones. But there's so many games for a hell of a great price because what was it, like $60 for the console, the little tiny ones, and just phenomenal.
This is so cool. So I just remembered this. Let's have a moment of silence for a legend who died. Stanley. He changed a lot of stuff for everyone out there. He was amazing, great guy. I honestly, to me, I wouldn't be able to see today, like with everything that's going on. I wouldn't be able to even imagine a life without Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel definitely has been a huge fandom of mine.
Massive.
Like I own every single Marvel movie that they've ever made. Blu-ray copies of all of them. Deleted scenes is just that universe and that man has been one of the best things I think could have happened, because it's just an entire world that
It's somewhere to escape to. You know,
Yeah.
I've never been huge on comics. I've read a couple, but just like everything, like as a kid watching Spider-Man, playing the Spider-Man games. I had a PC game of Spider-Man. It was so cool. You could change your suit, and I always did the brown bag mask suit. It was really weird. But that was back when you couldn't touch the ground. I don't know if you ever played those ones.
I've played a couple of them, but not very in depth.
Yeah, you could not. The clouds. You would be on buildings, and then there would be clouds below you, and you couldn't go down to the ground. You would have to stay on buildings, and if you went down, you'd die. It was really weird. I got really pissed off. I was like 6, so I didn't quite understand on why you couldn't go on the ground. And then they released the Spider-Man game on, I believe it was the original Xbox, that you could actually go on the ground, and I was like, dude, this is so cool. Like, you can actually run on the ground.
Yeah, that one was also on PlayStation, I believe, or was when PlayStation 2 first came out, that one was released there, because that's where I played it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but
Good times, dude.
moment of silence for that awesome
Yeah.
man who gave us so much.
He's a awesome guy. So let's just have a moment of silence in remembrance of Stan Lee and all of his awesome cameos.
Yes, I'm gonna miss that very much.
I know. Which I have something right after the moment of silence. So I don't know if you've seen the huge debate that's going on online about Stan Lee's cameos.
No, I haven't yet.
So, the fan base of Marvel would like none other than Deadpool to take over Stan Lee's cameos from now on.
That would be hilarious. But I also mentioned the day actually probably within 10 minutes of anything being posted about Stan Lee's passing, first thing I thought was, I would really like for them to either CGI him in the movies, just because that's something you just can't replace out of the movies. He's in every one, and such a big part. Like, you look for it. Like,
Yeah.
that's one thing that you hope to see, and I don't want our future Marvel movies to lose that, because they've been such a huge part of like us growing up over the last, how long have the movies been out? Like, when did the first Iron Man come out? Like,
Oh shoot,
8,
I don't
9
even
years ago or
remember.
something
Well,
like that.
he was in before that. He was in the first Hulk.
oh yeah, the Hulk.
He was in
Wow,
the
yeah,
freaking one
Hulk.
that he was in the original Hulk when
Yep.
they were painted green.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was on the jury. He was in the jury for that one. You know what one of my favorite scenes is? It would either have to be the one where he's with Thor cutting his hair,
Please, nice man, don't cut my hair.
or I'm not sure what Iron Man it is, but when he's the UPS delivery man, and he
Yeah.
goes and he knocks and he's like, are you Tony? Are you Tony Stank?
I think that was, I want to say that was one, or it was 1 or 2, because I watched those 2 the most versus the third.
But
Iron
it's
Man
funny. So one of the ideas for Deadpool was have him put a mustache on and put a wig on. And then walk around as, do his scenes for him. Which, it'd be funny. But I also agree with you. CGIing, and they've come a long way. Just look at Princess Leia.
Mm-hmm.
When, her name just slipped my mind.
In Rogue One.
Yeah, what?
And then also Admiral... Oh, who's that? Admiral... I know that's wrong, but... begins with a T, I think. But, the main Admiral
Yeah.
and the first 3.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 4, 5, 6, but the original. The
Yeah.
original.
I can't remember what's her name. The lady that played. What is her name? Who played Princess Leia? I feel horrible about forgetting her name. Do you remember what her name is?
I'm trying to think of who you're even talking about.
The original actor for Princess Leia.
Oh, her name. It was the same actress. It was. Oh, I'm gonna kick myself later when I remember this.
I can't believe I forgot. Every time that we ever talk about her, I always remember until now. What is it?
Um,
I'm gonna find this out.
she just like the joke. She's my favorite Disney princess, and I can't even think of her name right now. This is horrible. I feel awful.
Who played Princess Leia?
Carrie Fisher.
There we
Fisher.
go.
Oh my gosh, that was. I can't believe I forgot.
It's like I can think of Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and like
I can't believe I forgot about that. Like, how could I forget it was Carrie Fisher? She was hot when she was young.
yes, like I'll be honest. I had a poster of the slave Princess Leia from what was it, episode 5, when she was dressed up in her loyal slave outfit. I had a poster of that when I was 15. I
don't
got
want
it.
to know what you did to that.
I didn't do anything to her, but that and Kate Upton. I have just had 2 of the posters right on my wall.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Celebrity crush and model crush, I guess is the best way to put it.
Of course you did.
But hey, Kate Upton, if you ever watch this, I don't think you ever will, just shoot me a message.
Okay. She'll definitely shoot
Hopes
you
and dreams, bro. Hopes and dreams. That's what keeps me alive. And
Well, you
video
gotta have
games,
'em.
and longboarding, and more video games.
Yeah, video games to be.
And lots of food.
Food is definitely good. Gotta love that food.
Yep.
Okay, so I just feel amazing to live in today, like today's basis. Like, I know a lot of stuff sucks today. There's so much stuff going on, but with today, like with all the electronics that is out today, with just everything that they're making, just so amazing. Games, movies, everything, just how far we've got.
Yeah.
It's so amazing. Just out of this world.
Yeah. So, I think this is going to wrap up today's show. We thank you all for tuning in and listening to it. If you're starting here from our first week, or if you're joining us later in the years and you go back to listen to our early stuff, thank you so very much. And like we said early on, we'll put a link to our Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. We have our Facebook. We have our YouTube channel here, which
Yep.
we hope you're listening to that. Or listen to our podcast. And if so, most of our stuff is Monkey Talk Studio or
Yeah.
Monkey Talk 1. Just
So, for some reason, our username on some stuff is Monkey Talk Stud 1.
Mhm.
Don't know why I cut off the IO. Sorry, I'm stupid. The IO. But I know on Twitter it's Monkey Talk Stud 1. But we will have everything in the description. And if you're listening to this on a later date on podcasts, just tune in on YouTube at Monkey Talk Studio or on Instagram for Monkey Talk I believe I changed it to Monkey Talk 1. So go on to Monkey Talk 1 or check out our Instagram, Snapchat, which is Monkey Talk Studios. Just follow us. We'd love it if you hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button. And tune in next week
Awesome.
for our ongoing podcast and videos.
Yeah, and we have a blast doing this. So also leave
Yeah.
recommendations of what you guys, video games, new, old, that you want us to talk about. Movies, we can always go over that. Genres of movies, songs
Yeah.
too. Which I know we didn't get a lot of music in this week.
No, but we're gonna talk about music and on a later date, which we will not disclose, and we will not disclose who it is. But we have a guest appearance coming on a later date. Someone that is super cool, the upcoming band, and I think it's going to be amazing when they get on.
Yep, that will be a show you guys want to listen to or
Yep.
watch.
So tune in next week for another Monkey Talk Studio podcast or whatever platform you're on. So thank you for watching and have a good rest of your day.
Deuces.
See you guys.